3D glass text in After Effects. Let's go. So in After Effects, I made a 1080p comp around 8 seconds long. After this, I dropped in a text layer and centered it. I turned the text layer into a 3D layer. Then I hit Ctrl K to open up the composition settings and went to 3D renderer and changed the renderer from classic 3D to advanced 3D. Here you can read about all the details of what these features can do and what they cannot do. Then I hit OK to come back to our comp. Now since we are working with 3D workspace, I dropped in a new camera with the default settings. Now in the bottom where it says one view, I change it to 2 views, which is going to help us see things from different angles. So on our left is our active camera and in our right is the custom camera view set to top and which can be changed to a number of different angles. Now if I open up the text layer, you can see an option called geometry options, and if you open that up, you'll see extrusion depth, which will add thickness to our text layer. For this example, I set it around 80. Now for the bevel style, which you can see if I change how it's affecting the edges of the text. I set it to convex, which gives it a smooth chamfered edges. Also set the bevel depth to 8 so the edges are more spreaded and smooth. After this, it was time to work on the material. I open up the text layer again and twirl down the material option. There I increase the specular intensity and shininess to 100%. Now you can see how this text became more reflective metal looking. And if I rotate it, you can see how those specular spots are reacting. But it's not reflecting anything other than the white light. So we need to add an environment which gonna get reflected over this text body. This is where our HDRI maps gonna come in handy. Now you can get a whole lot of HDRI maps out there. Two good sites that I use are Polyheaven and HDRI Skies. So if you guys can check them out, I'll leave links in the description. Now I dragged in our HDRI map inside the comp and we don't need to see it, so I turned it off. Then I created a new light and set the light type to environment and hit OK. In the light option, there is a channel called source and I have changed that to our HDRI. Now you can see how the HDRI is reflecting on our text layer. You can even open up the light transform option and change the X and Y values, and that will basically rotate the HDRI map accordingly. For this example, I set the X value to 1 and left the Y to 0. If I rotate the text now, you can see how it's reflecting the environment. Now if I select the text and hit T to reveal its opacity property and turn it down, you can see we have introduced some transparency to our 3D text. Now if I rotate it, you can see it's kind of started resembling a reflective glass material, but the issue with doing it like this is we lose a lot of control over the opacity parameter on individual parts of the text, like the bevel or the back opacity or the front. And it turns down our overall text brightness a bit. Let me show you guys something. On your left, the text is rendered with just the default opacity set around 40%. And on your right, the text opacity is modified on different parts, as in the bevel got a different opacity value than the front and the sides. As you can see, the right side text got much more different variations on the opacity than the left one. I don't know how much YouTube will compress it, but the right side got more details. So let's see how to do this. So back in our comp, I'm gonna open up the text layer again and go to Animate, Front, Color, Opacity. Now if I change the value of this, you can see how it's affecting the front side of the 3D text. After this, I added the opacity operator for the rest of the text part, as in the bevels, side and the back. Then I changed all of their values to different from each other. Now if I rotate the text, you can see how the different transparency values are working. While I was at it, I also animated the text. I just did a simple position and rotation animation, nothing fancy. This will help you guys to see the next part better. So I dropped this comp into the create new composition to make a new comp and also renamed it to final. After this, I added my BG image and adjusted its scale a bit. I added a curve effect to our comp and made it a slight S curve to give it a bit more contrast. After this, I duplicated this comp and renamed it highlight. I reset the curve effect in this comp and added a tint effect and put the tint before the curve effect. Now I adjusted the curve so it creates this high contrast where we are left with this white specular values and the rest is black. Now what I want is just to isolate the white parts and make everything else transparent. So for that, I went to Effects, Channel, Shift Channel. In the effect settings, I will change the take alpha from to luminance, and that's gonna only keep the white highlights. Now the edges are all pretty jacked up, so in order to fix it, I added a Gaussian blur effect and set it around 5. After this, I added Deep Glow, which is a paid plugin which creates the most nice and natural looking glow in After Effects. I dropped the intensity to 0.5. After this, I turned our base comp layer on and you can see how the text is looking now. For the next part, I duplicated our base text comp again and renamed it map. I soloed the comp, then resetted the curve. After this, I pushed the RGB values to max without breaking the text. And same with the alpha curve. I pushed it quite well. Here you can see the text is now completely opaque without any transparency. But there are few color information still there. So in order to get rid of it, I added the fill effect and change it to white. Now I unsoloed it and hide it. The map just need to be there, nothing else. After this, I created a text layer and adjusted all the parameters till I was happy. And you can add basically anything, doesn't have to be a text layer. It works with pretty much anything. After I was happy with the text, I put it beneath our original text comp but above our BG layer. After this, I added a compound blur effect to the text, and in the effect, I set the blur layer to our map comp and changed the source to effects and masks. Now you can see how the text is reacting to the blur. I set the blur to a lower value and you can see how the effects are building our final look. Now I added a displacement effect over the text layer, changed the map to our map comp, then source to effects and mask. After this, I set both the horizontal and the vertical displacement to alpha and changed their values a bit to get our final look. Now if we zoom in, you can see this weird artifact, and the easy way to fix it is to put our displacement map effect before the blur, and you'll be all set. Now our final look is done. After this, you can add in a whole bunch of other effects like some chromatic aberration, some noise, some more color correction, that sort of stuff to make it even more enhanced. But I'll leave that to you. And since we are using a live text layer, so at any time we can go back to our original text comp, change the text, and everything else will be auto updated accordingly. So this is how you create a nice looking 3D glass text all inside After Effects. So experiment with these methods, try it with some different HDRI to get a new look, or maybe throw in some lights in there, who knows, you might even make something even better than I've showed you. So yeah, that's it. If you have any questions or thoughts, please comment down below, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more motion graphics content. Take care of yourself and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye guys.